Have you ever stopped to think about where your good deeds really come from? I mean, what if every act of worship, every good thing you've ever done, wasn't actually your achievement? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty profound spiritual idea, this shift from seeing our actions as something we do to seeing them as a gift we receive.
And that really starts with asking ourselves a tough question. What is my worship really built on? Seriously, when I do something good, am I relying on myself, my own discipline, or is there something else at play? Where does that ability actually truly come from?
So to get to the bottom of that, we have to start at square one. We need to explore the real foundation of worship, and that is sincerity. But maybe not sincerity in the way you've always thought about it.
Okay, so on the most basic level, we all kind of get this, right? Sincerity means you're doing things for God and for God alone. You're not trying to impress your friends, you're not building up some kind of spiritual reputation, and you're not doing it to get praised. That's the baseline. That's Sincerity 101.
But is that it? Is that the whole story? What if there's another layer to this? Something way more subtle. A challenge that goes even deeper than just not showing off for other people.
And this is where things get really interesting. This deeper challenge is all about moving beyond self-reliance. It's about looking at our sincerity itself and realizing that even it needs to be corrected by freeing ourselves from depending on our own power.
So think of it like this. It's a two-step process. Step one is what we just talked about. You correct your actions by making them sincere. You do it for God. But step two, this is the real game changer. You have to correct the sincerity itself by completely disowning the idea that you are the source of that power.
And here's the big mind shift. You see, a person could be totally sincere, but deep down, still be patting themselves on the back, thinking, wow, look at my discipline, look at my strength. This wisdom flips that on its head. It tells us, no, the obedience happened through you as a vessel, but the grace and ability to do it came from God.
It's like every time you do something good, you come to this fork in the road. Down one path is self-admiration. That's the voice in your head that says, I did this, I was strong. But the other path, that's gratitude. That's the feeling of just being completely overwhelmed by God's favor, and all you can think is, He allowed me to do this. One path leads to ego, the other leads to humility and love.
Okay, but let's be real. We all mess up. No one's journey is a straight line up. So what happens when we stumble? Well, how we deal with the sorrow that comes from our mistakes is absolutely critical. Because it turns out, not all sadness is created equal.
There's a world of difference here. On one hand, you have a healthy sorrow. This is when your heart genuinely aches because you feel like you've let down the one you love. That kind of sadness is a good thing. It pulls you back and leads you to repent. But then, there's this dangerous despair. This is where sorrow turns into hopelessness. It makes you give up. Or worse, it makes you start thinking badly of God. And this idea here is just so powerful. Let this sink in. It's not saying sin isn't a big deal. It is. But it's saying that no sin is too great for God's grace. We should never, ever despair, because His mercy is always, always bigger than our mistakes. That door back to Him is never closed.
So, if we're not relying on our own strength, what exactly is pushing us forward on this path? This wisdom gives us a beautiful way to think about it, a divine light that God sends into the heart.
I mean, just listen to how poetic that is. Lights are the mounts of hearts. It's like saying our hearts don't travel on their own 2 feet. They don't get there just through logic or sheer willpower. They ride on a vehicle of divine grace, a light that lets us see and gives us the energy to move toward God.
So what exactly is this spiritual light? Well, it's a mercy. It could be anything, really. It could be a sudden moment of clarity where everything just clicks, or it might be a feeling of complete brokenness that finally humbles you. It could be an intense longing for something more, or just a deep gut-level realization that you can't keep living for yourself. It's whatever God sends to wake your heart up.
And this really sets up the internal battle we all face. It's like there are two armies fighting for control. You've got the army of the heart, and its soldiers are things like dislike, sincerity, and clarity. But then you have the army of the ego, and it's fueled by darkness, pride, and just being distracted by the world. The real victory isn't when we win, but when God sends His reinforcements of light to help our heart's army. And when those armies of light come through, when we have that victory, it leads us to the grand finale of this whole mindset shift. It teaches us how to rejoice in the right way, for the right reasons.
Okay, if you only remember one thing from our time together, let it be this. This one line can change absolutely everything. It's saying, look, of course you should be happy when you do something good, but why are you happy? Don't rejoice because you were the one who did it. Rejoice because God chose to send that gift of obedience to you.
You can almost hear the difference in your own head, right? The old view is all about I. It's I prayed, I fasted, I was so consistent. It makes you the hero of the story. But the new view, it's all gratitude. Praise be to God who made this possible. He opened this door for me. It's His gift. That small change takes you from self-admiration to pure, genuine thankfulness.
So let's just wrap this all up. The journey begins with making our actions sincere, but it gets deeper when we let go of ownership over them. And when we fall, and we will fall, we feel that healthy sorrow. But we never, ever despair. And at the end of the day, we rejoice in our worship, not as our achievement, but as a precious gift, a light from God that carries our hearts forward.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to really chew on. If you started today, right now, to see every single good deed not as your personal accomplishment, but as an intimate gift sent directly from God to you, how would that change everything? How would it change the way you see yourself and the way you walk your spiritual path?